All right, breaking this morning, the Harris-Walz campaign just released their post-debate game plan.
And Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz will embark on a battleground blitz after Tuesday's presidential debate. Harris will visit North Carolina on Thursday and then back to Pennsylvania on Friday. Now, Walz will focus on shoring up the blue wall with stops in Michigan and Wisconsin. And the candidates' spouses will meet with voters in Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Maine, Nevada, and New Hampshire. And with the debate just 2 days away, Harris met with voters yesterday in Pennsylvania. She took a break, from debate prep. She went out and did an OTR, off the record stop, as we like to say. As for Donald Trump, he hosted a rally in Wisconsin, spreading a series of lies about our free and fair elections. All of this is unfolding with just 58 days until Election Day. Joining us now is Harris-Walz Principal Deputy Campaign Manager, Quentin Fulks.
Quentin, good morning. Good morning. Look, let's just start right out of the gate with a look at this new ad, A New Way Forward. I want to get your thoughts about it on the other side.
This election is about two very different visions for our nation. One focused on the future, and the other focused on the past. When the middle class is strong, America is strong. Lowering the cost of living will be a defining goal of my presidency.
This ad is scheduled to run in 8 states: Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Nebraska. I love the aggressiveness of it. I love the push of a new way forward. Talk to us about the thinking behind the ad and the appeal you're trying to create with its release this morning.
Well, look, I think, first of all, good morning. But I think that this ad really encapsulates what this election is about. It is a choice between two different visions, as you heard the vice president say, one that's looking towards the future and one that's looking towards the past. But within that, what we know is that we have to continue to introduce the vice president to voters across this country and what she stands for and what she means by that future. And so when you see those tidbits in there about building more affordable housing to make housing and mortgages cheaper across this country, about putting a price gouging ban on groceries, especially in extreme circumstances, that's what the vice president is coming into office fighting for, and she's fighting for the middle class. And so I think that ad really sums it up very nicely. And so we're going to continue with this tour that was aforementioned to get the vice president and Governor Walz and the spouses across the country talking to voters in every single media market immediately after the debate.
Quentin, let's talk about the states that are going to be barnstormed. Vice President Harris going to Pennsylvania and North Carolina. Governor Walz going to Michigan and to Wisconsin. Do you have a sense inside the campaign of the way your map is shaping up and the most likely path to victory?
Every single one of those states is in play. This election, we've known for a long time, is going to be extremely close, and it's going to come down to who works the hardest, who is communicating the most with the voters, and who is actually putting in the work. The vice president has been out on the road routinely, as well as Governor Walz, in every single one of the states. We've got a reproductive freedom bus tour that is traveling across this country that will integrate into this tour. We've got surrogates across this country fanning out, speaking to voters, and so it's going to come down to who puts in the work on the ground. And I'm also very proud of our organizing team and our field teams in the battleground states who have for months been putting in the work to communicate with voters on a daily basis in every single one of these states.
Quentin, what are you most concerned about and what are you most excited about with these next couple of weeks really barreling down? I mean, we say X amount of days until Election Day, but the reality is, as you well know, people start voting much earlier than that.
Yeah, I mean, look, anytime you're talking about elections that are beginning and people beginning to vote, there's the process of that happening. And we see Donald Trump already setting this up to be able to cause problems. We know that extreme MAGA Republicans like to play games with people's voting rights. And so, look, what I'm most concerned about is making sure that all of these elections across the country go off without a hitch. And our campaign has invested very heavily in a voter protection program with council in all the states to make sure that we're going to do everything we can to push back on misinformation and disinformation so that people have the correct information when they go to cast their vote, whether that be in mail or in person. And then what I'm most excited about is continuing to talk to voters across this country. The vice president's joy when it comes to campaigning is infectious. And so she's going to continue to campaign as well as Governor Walz. And I'm excited to continue to help introduce them to the American people and define the stakes of this election.
Hey, Quentin, I want to pull back the curtain a little bit on the debate and sort of get your sense of the New York Times reporting Saturday how Trump is approaching this. Quote, he has been briefed on Ms. Harris's past debate performances and her verbal tics. He remembers well her viral moment in 2020 when she debated Vice President Mike Pence and cut off his attempted interruption by saying, "I'm speaking." Referring to that exchange, Mr. Trump has privately told associates, "I'm not going to let her do to me what she did to Mike." Okay, y'all bring it now. Let's go. Everybody in the center of the ring. Let's mix this up. I like hearing that because that tells me Donald Trump is nervous. He's concerned. And so what does that say to you in your preparation, and how are you stress testing some of her messagings and, quote, tics to deal with Donald Trump?
Well, look, all jokes aside, we are taking this extremely seriously. Donald Trump is a skilled debater. He has been in the most presidential debates of any candidate in presidential history. This will be the vice president's first presidential debate as the nominee. And so, you know, we know that Donald Trump is preparing, as he has been for weeks. And so he's going to come ready. But so is the vice president. She is ready to talk to Donald Trump about the issues facing voters across this country and the stakes of this election, reproductive freedom, while he continues to double down and wants to take away IVF and ban abortion nationwide in Project 2025. And so it's going to be an interesting debate. But make no mistake about it, Donald Trump will be prepared, as he has always been, and he is a showman. And so we know the stakes of this, and the vice president will be ready.
I mean, it's true. We saw that in the debate with President Biden, where just the bar is set so low for Donald Trump that even his showing any type of discipline is seen somehow.
Yeah, I
as
appreciate
Yeah.
you couldn't say he's a skilled debater, but we'll let that go.
Well, look, I do think that Quentin is right. Former President Trump, has been in a lot of debates. He is a skilled debater. He's a showman. And debates are about as much as policy as it is about performance. And so, Quentin, can you take us inside the vice president's debate prep? How is she? We have reporting from NBC News that notes that she is preparing for a variety of potential unscripted and perhaps history-making moments, including the possibility that Donald Trump makes derogatory comments about her. And this is according to the sources familiar with her preparations and some of who are directly involved. She's in Pittsburgh. We saw her yesterday step out for just a little bit, but she's going to be in Pittsburgh until it is time for that debate. Take us inside the preparations. What do the last couple of hours look like? I've been in a debate prep with the vice president before, but that was when she was prepping for a debate as number 2 on the ticket. Now she's prepping for quite possibly the most important debate of her career thus far.
Look, what I can say is that the vice president is preparing to be the vice president. She is going to show up and be Kamala Harris. She is going to talk about the things that she feels is most important for the future of this country. And, you know, those are the things that are impacting Americans' lives. I'm not going to get into the back and forths, and I don't think that the vice president is going to be scripted. She has a message that she wants to deliver to the American people. And from the moment she got in this race, that has been our focus, is making sure that she is communicating to the voters who are going to decide this election in the manner that she feels is best fit as the top of this ticket. And so we're really excited for this debate.
Quentin Fulks, as always, thank you so much for getting us started.